Hello, this is Jonathan Anglin with Hedman Anglin Agency. I thought we would just take a moment to share with you a video of going over some homeowner policy coverages so that you can maybe take some notes, write some things down. This is obviously just one carrier. The claims that we've seen that have happened on a regular basis, these are the coverages that we think you really want to consider having. Here we go. So we have this policy, typically, dwelling coverages that usually is determined on a replacement cost estimator based on your square footage of your home. And we're not really looking at market value. Sometimes they get fairly close, but that's an automatic amount that's usually generated after you do a replacement cost. And then 10% a lot of times is what's common on a homeowner policy. So that 10% of $256,000, $25,000. But this again goes to this little shed, other structures on your premises. So if you need to increase that, typically you can with carriers, you can increase your other structures amount. Personal property, a lot of times carriers will just automatically include 50%, but then you can take it to a higher amount for your personal contents. This would be clothes, couches, everything that could fall out of the house if you shook it upside down. And we'll talk a little bit more about that personal contents coverage a little bit later. Additional living expense. Some of these homeowner policies may say 12 months, 24 months. Some list an amount like this. Some carriers have it where it lists the dwelling coverage amount. So, if your house burns to the ground, or if you have to stay somewhere else, not necessarily burn to the ground, but let's just say your part of your house caught on fire and you needed to stay somewhere while your house was being repaired, this should be enough to provide for a monthly expense of you living somewhere else similar to your home. So this number will reflect based on that dwelling coverage too. It can. Liability, I preach this one. You should always have more liability than what the home value is, just for peace of mind. Med pay, that's a lot of times you'll see $1,000 on a homeowner policy when I'm quoting it. But I can tell you, if there's a trip, a fall, it's a dog bite, things that just are odd or awkward that happen, the med pay is not that expensive to just provide a little extra peace of mind. And I recommend at least $5,000 as a base limit. So as we go through here, we'll see, here's your deductible. A lot of times you'll see different deductibles, and it just depends on the state that you're in, where you live, the carrier that you're with. Sometimes they'll put a percentage deductible for like wind and hail, and that wind and hail percentage may be based on, they may put a 1% or 5% deductible for wind and hail, and that deductible percentage will be based on your dwelling. So 1% would be $2,500 deductible. And wind and hail is typically one of the most common losses that people experience. So then when we start getting to the nuts and bolts of this policy, every company's different, so this is just some of the highlighted coverages. We've got this building ordinance of law coverage. I recommend if you have an older home to have higher percentage there, because if they require you to rebuild it to today's specs, you could be short. You could be short on some major coverages that just are automatically what they do for new homes. So I would increase that percentage, especially if you have an older home. This extended dwelling coverage, a lot of times you may see on average, I may see 25% additional. And so like if you have a $300,000 home, they're going to give you 25% on top of that for inflation coverage. And this policy has 100%, so it's actually like 200% replacement cost for that value of that 256. So almost $500,000 right there included in this. Refrigerated products, usually that's it's an optional coverage a lot of the times, or you have to select the right package that automatically includes it. And loss assessment, interesting one here. It's just included in this policy, but if you're part of a homeowners association, and let's say you're having a block party, or let's say you have a community pool, and there's an accident, and anybody that's part of that association into the lawsuit, this is where that $5,000 can come into for coverage. And some carriers will let you increase that amount, but that's a nice feature to know. Maybe your house is connected to a lake or a pond that the other HO or the association is linked to, and then that's something to consider, to be careful about. Equipment breakdown, that's become a more popular item that people have been putting on their homeowner policy. The best way to think about that one would be, insurance has never been a wear and tear covered product. So this could be arcing of, it could tie into your furnace, HVAC. It could be washer and dryer. Obviously it needs to make sense to file the claim. Usually there's about a $500 deductible with that. Service line coverage. This would be lines that service from your house to the street usually. So a lot of times what we've seen this happen is the city will come out and have to dig a line, and then so you're responsible from the street to your house, and so this coverage right there would provide coverage for that. A lot of times, if we keep going down the list, valued jewelry, a lot of times people miss that, but you can either put it on its own policy, or some carriers will let you add it to the homeowner policy. If it is on the home though, and you do have a claim, it's going to be on your homeowner policy. A lot of times what they say is if you have a scheduled policy where it's separate and you have a claim, it doesn't link back to your home. So it's just specifically on that personal articles coverage policy. Personal property replacement cost. We want to make sure you get today's value. We don't want you to get a $2 20-year-old t-shirt. We want to get you a t-shirt that's going to be economically affordable today to replace that. It adds up when you get into that personal contents for sure. Another policy a little different on here. Not every carrier does this, but you've got this roof replacement cost on roof. A lot of times what happens is as the home gets older, a homeowner policy on the roof can actually they'll eventually change it to an actual cash value product. They can. Not every carrier does, but they can. And so what some companies have done is they've started adding an endorsement that you can add that just gives you replacement cost coverage for your roof. And so we have that included in here. It's also kind of can link into another coverage that it's not shown here, but matching your roof. A lot of times a carrier where people get frustrated on a wind or hailstorm claim is that the insurance carrier only provides coverage for the back side of the house but not the front side. And so we want to just kind of take that all out of the equation and just give the coverage that the client needs. So hopefully that helps. This premium is pretty competitive. It's not always that low, but there are prices out there like that. So when you have good credit, no claims history, live in an area that's low protection class, meaning that it's close to a fire hydrant, fire department, those are all the things that help. So hopefully this is a good little tutorial to help you walk through your own homeowner's insurance policy, to ask questions maybe to confirm if you have or don't have. And if you have any questions whatsoever, reach out to us, give us a call. You can reach us at 614-486-7300 or email us at service@hedmananglinagency.com. And have a great day. Thank you.